Yeah. In the time when we as college students are, clearly struggling with the assignments, internships, lectures, we have this amazing 13-year-old kid, Siddharth Pilli. He is very passionate about coding, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and data science. And you'd be surprised to know he is 13. He goes to school regularly and he also has a job with Montaigne Smart Business Solutions, a software company in Hyderabad. Welcome, Siddharth. Would you like to introduce yourself or add something to what I just told about you?
Yeah, I think. Anyways, everyone, I'm Siddharth Pilli. I'm currently studying 8th grade in Sri Chaitanya Technical School, and I'm currently 13 years old. And right now, I work as a data scientist, and like I said, like you said, Mounting Smart Business Solutions, and we're tech enthusiastic. I'm really enthusiastic in the world of AI, data science, and machine learning as well. So that's basically it of me.
Okay. So that when did you decide, or how did you decide that you wanted to do something in data science?
At the age when I say at the age of 10, I was really inspired into Tanmay Bakshi, as Tanmay Bakshi has secured a great knowledge on machine learning, and as of him being one of my biggest inspirations, and me looking into Tanmay teaches videos and different videos he and webinars he has given on ML and AI. That's basically where this will started for me to learn AI and ML. And my first project was a recommendation engine created by some machine learning algorithm. So that's where my knowledge and my first touch with AI was set.
Wow, that's
Right.
that's amazing.
So, Siddharth, what I'd like to ask you is that from whatever knowledge that I have of ML, it requires some, or at least, if not a lot, but at least some level of proficiency in mathematics of some sort, right? So, how did you overcome all the challenges? Like, how did you at least get into learning regression and some basics of probability and statistics to get into ML?
I didn't actually see it as a very hard challenge while getting into the mathematics of machine learning. My first stage was getting into probability and statistics only, where as of when it comes to data science, we definitely need a lot of statistical analysis and mainly working with a lot of analytics as well. So a lot of statistical knowledge is needed. And with the help of my mom, has shared a PhD in mathematics, and a bit of the online researches and Google I got. Is a step-by-step process where I started learning statistics and continuing machine learning. Where if there's a machine learning algorithm or some kind of new plots or regression plots, I basically take a look at few websites like Machine Learning Mastery and different websites which basically includes the algorithmic understanding of a certain, let's say, machine learning algorithm, or just the behind the back scenes of a certain algorithm and how it's being taken for some statistics and different types of algebraic equations as well. And because of the research of Google, I basically understood the statistics and probability on how an algorithm is being taken place when it comes to me.
All right.
Okay, that's amazing. So Siddharth, you just told me that you were around 10 when you decided that you wanted to do something in data science, right? So, like, when I can think of myself being 10, I was a very random kid, just playing or studying, something like that, and not even knowing what I'm studying. So, it's amazing how you discovered all that so early. But how did you convince your parents? How did you walk up to them and tell them, I want to do this?
Well, until then, I was only experienced with basic programming languages like Python and Java, and getting a big steps on from a programming language to machine learning and AI. They thought I could be taken into a lot of pressure, and they didn't actually accept what I thought was a good idea as well. So they thought first you can try to understand these programming languages, maybe then move on to these. Um, they thought it might take a lot of stress in my normal life as well, but in reality it definitely didn't, because I got to learn I got to learn more than what I was actually limited to learning. Where in my normal school, we just had normal mathematics, social studies, and this was what I was limited to. And I was not getting challenged enough in my current school or anything. And to step up higher and to learn these new skills, as of AI was just starting to advance it then by these new inventions and new models, I thought it would be a good idea to learn AI as well. So that's what I. So my parents definitely did support me, but back then they thought it might take a lot of stress upon my normal life as well.
Right. So from what I can make out, you started learning Java, and then you went into Python, and then gradually made up your mind to learn ML.
Yeah,
Is that right? So
yeah, yeah.
is it what is it ML that kind of attracts you towards coding, or is it the language itself, and you would like to go into web development and other types of things like IoT or anything like that?
As of the development really inspires me because when it comes to development, yes, I really like to develop new things. Really like to cook code, and yes, when it comes to development, I totally agree with it. But the thing is, in machine learning and AI, because development it usually involves me in trying to make something. But for example, trying to create a web application, trying to create a mobile application, it's where I try to write some code and I write some code and to actually make something. Just a normal process. But when it comes to AI, I like the thought process of me being a god kind of thing, where I try to give a machine a brain, so a machine a brain, where I and it can basically do something without me actually involving in it. So the thought process of machine learning is where I actually started liking it. And yes, I am still into development. I still love creating some apps and web apps as well. But but the main thing what I love is ML can be implemented in development as well. So let's say when I'm creating a new project, I can involve ML in it, and as so far, I wouldn't give up development in for now cases, but because only trying to work on data and just only trying to work on data would be just, I don't know, it would really be just the same thing going again and again. So trying to implement few magic such as development and ML into it just makes it a bit and a bit more interactive and a bit more interesting and fun and challenging for me as well. So I think I like the both perspectives of development and machine learning.
Right.
That's good. Okay, so that you told me that the school wasn't very competitive and you had to learn more in order to excel. So how did you do that? Like who taught you? What means did you use?
Sorry.
Like what did you do? Like did you start learning online or did you go for some classes, some extra classes or something like that?
I actually really got scored by Elon Musk that because of online listed, I don't think we should be really dependent on going for institutes, because I guess having this big resource like online is like an institute which basically teaches us everything. Now, having that in mind, I didn't actually try to go for any extra classes or institutes, because I was just 10 years old back then when I was starting off with a little teensy weensy steps on machine learning. And the chances are many institutes did go to few institutes, but okay, I'll get back to this later. But no, actually, I didn't take any extra classes or anything, because online was a big resource which basically contains every information available from a simple. I think documentation really helped me in many ways, and yes, I think online did. But the thing was, when my dad saw keen interest on AI, he thought maybe this institutes can help him learn a concept much better or understand a certain concept much better. So what my dad thought was he basically just took me for classes on this institutes. But the thing was, many institutes didn't get the chance to offer me, saying I was too young to listen there. And many times maybe doubts might occur. I wouldn't be suitable with the current audience available there. So many times I got rejected while joining these institutes. So yeah, so I didn't take any extra online classes when it comes to coding and ML as well.
Right. So, Siddharth, what is a day in your life like? What do you do in general, and what are some other hobbies that you have?
Okay, my day in my life. So for me, I just even though I am a bit even though I am a data scientist and everything, I still try to because of the lockdown. I wake up at 8 a.m. for now, and after 8 a.m. I just after 8 a.m. we have online classes, and after online classes at 10:30 a.m. we basically have a scrum meeting at my office, which I basically attend until what I have done in my past and what I'll be working on my future projects as well. So that's basically what I try to inform in the meeting. And after the meeting, I have few online classes. And after online class, I mean, online classes are just 2 hours, so it's really easy to manage for me. And basically, after all my online classes are finished, I tend to get started with working with the actual data science project as well. The current one, I cannot actually reveal what it is, but most of the time when it comes to I guess any data scientist, scraping and collecting the data would be most of it. Data cleansing or basically data engineering. This process will be, I guess, the 70% of my just a daily life itself, because trying to collect the data, clean data, it would be a bit of hard process, but as well, it's gradually a learning step forward when we come into the field of ML. So a day in my life would be collecting these data and cleansing this data. So and after and so if it's for short projects, data can be easily collected and scraped, then I can start working on ML algorithm. Again, the 20% would be deciding on which algorithm fits my data the best based on my dependency and requirement, and me applying the algorithm. Applying the algorithm is the most easiest part in my life. That's basically how a day in my life goes on. And then the next 1 hour, I basically, like I said, I teach students some Python programming classes, and from the foreign countries and the NRIs, I tend to teach them a bit of ML and Python as well. So that's how my daily life goes on.
That is really great.
That's an impressive day. That's an impressive day for that. So what my next question was, it was based on how life was before COVID, the life we all loved. Yeah, so in that scenario, how did you manage your school and office? Because see, being at home, you can log out of one meeting and go to the other one, but physically being present in two places, how did you manage that?
Okay, so when my school heard about the news of me getting a job offer at Montaigne Business Solutions, they felt happy. They actually felt really happy that a student from a school got in a honorary position. So, but they definitely didn't want me to miss any classes or anything like that. So they made me up a schedule where it's divided into a 3-day structure, like 3 day school and 3 days office. And the school was really easy to manage, and their help towards me really helped me to never miss my concepts, and it was really easy to complete and learn all the subjects as well. So if it comes to my school's cooperation, they really helped me to a start, and I never got to miss any classes or subjects because of the cooperation. And the homeworks which I can particularly do in weekends. It's just like 1 hour process, and that yeah, easing so managing was really easy in my case.
All right. So just a side note for our audience, feel free to type your questions in the chat box that is on the right side of your screen. Right. So moving on to the next question. So like what would you recommend to, like, we have a lot of school kids watching this video, and quite a few college kids as well. So what would you recommend them? What language should they go about to start learning, start to delve into coding, and if a language actually matters or not?
I think yes, language definitely matters. Now I'm not a big computer science graduate or anything, but in my case, I'm actually still in a learning phase of computer science and everything. But if it's in my case, let's say if a person has to choose a good programming language to start, if they're beginners to coding, I definitely recommend Python, to be honest, because yes, Python is a very easy language to learn. To be honest, Python and English are, we can compare them very easily towards them, and it's very easy to understand, read, and helps to write code much better. And one thing I actually really love about Python is it has a lot of support over packages. There's a lot of support over many packages in Python, and I guess because of having many packages in Python right now, it's basically helping other developers and every developer out there to try to write some new code powered by these packages, because I can just go on a list and run like Django, Flask, NumPy, Pandas, so like many packages. So that's one thing I really like about Python. And plus, it's object oriented. I think many programming languages are object oriented, but as of Python, it's I think Python I can define it as the most simplest object oriented programming language is out there. So that's why I tend for everyone who's starting with coding or are beginners to start learning with Python.
Right. Thank
Okay,
you.
that's really good advice. I am going to implement it for sure because well, I'm a beginner. So I was thinking we when we got to know about you and we read about you, and now that we are getting to hear more about you, you inspire me a lot. To
Oh,
change many things in my life now, and
thank
to
you.
get so that if someone asks me one day how my day in a life is, I can give them some input, right? So, what has been your inspiration all this while?
I basically have two inspirations. One, spiritually, I have Abdul Kalam ji as one of my biggest inspiration, because his principles and his way of thinking really inspired me. And because he even believes in the fact that many backbenchers and many students who definitely fail in exams, they have the brightest minds in the future, and I definitely like it because they have more time to. I think many people who tend to imagine things, who are more into imagination and futuristic thinking or sci-fi readers, I think these people, I think Abdul Kalam ji really supported, because people who love to imagine more, I guess, or creative liberty goes on. I guess Abdul Kalam ji's principle, I really like them as well. So Abdul Kalam ji spiritually helped me a lot. And when it comes to the technology world, or my inspiration towards starting with ARML, I have done Maybach and Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg, as I think I refer to him as a business guru, because I think he's a really great entrepreneur and he knows what to do at right stages also, and what to buy and what not. So these two and these three are my biggest inspirations.
Right. So adding to that question, like you talked about Mark Zuckerberg being your inspiration because of him being an entrepreneur. Where do you see yourself in say 10 years? Like, would you like to delve into research of some sort, or become an entrepreneur or a businessman into the technical field?
Yes, actually, my long-term goal and the dream which I want to achieve is starting my own company. Because starting my own company, I'd like to help the world through today's AI solutions. And right now, many startups are because I think Indian's economy startups is growing larger and larger every day. I think many startups are getting registered every day in the field of everything, to be honest. And I think in the future there would be a great market for startups and a great competition as well. And for me, getting started with a goal as an entrepreneur, I think it would really help me in future to know some good business principles and just achieve my dream. Because creating these solutions and helping the community and the people out there, I think that is what I really love to do. And recently, if it comes to the word of helping, developing, I just developed the COVID-19 dashboard, or developing some kind of tools which will help people to know and to know and benefit them in these case scenarios. I think that's something I really love to do, and that's why I chose this plan to become an entrepreneur. And if I see myself in the next 20 or 50 or the next 20 years, I would basically imagine myself as an entrepreneur of entrepreneur of a AI solutions company.
Right.
I really hope you become a great entrepreneur one day.
Thank you.
Okay, so like when we were talking about, when I asked you that, did you take any classes or something? So you told me you did approach some institutes and they said that you are too young for it. So I think that that would have been an issue while, applying for a job. So if there was any, or if there was any incident you want to tell us about.
Yes, there was. Now, when I was first applying for these jobs, you have different job portals like Naukri, Indeed, and etc. etc. So, what happens is I applied for a junior data scientist position in a Naukri job portal. So the thing was, I did get a call, but I guess they were confused with me saying seventh grade. Date of birth, I guess seventh semester or something like that. So they tend to call me, yeah. So they try to call me and correct if it was seventh semester or a seventh grade in secondary school. So I said seventh grade in secondary school. They used to give me a giggle and said, "Yeah, I think you might be too young for the junior data scientist position." And there were a few calls like this because they were always getting confused with me thinking seventh semester or a seventh grade secondary student. So that happened for me all the time. But this specific, the first one really surprises me around thinking it's a mistake. And they did verify if I had these skills or not, such as pandas and everything. So they did verify it, but they said we can't actually take into the account. So yeah, that didn't work out.
Right. So, well, I'm a seventh semester student myself, so I can kind of relate to that. And just to add, like most of the companies which come for recruitment on campus, like they don't take data scientists right out of undergrad colleges, and they actually require PhD and like really good qualifications. So that is really good on your part to have actually made it through that interview.
Thank
So
you.
really great on that. So yes, my next question would be like you yourself said that you developed some sort of a dashboard to monitor COVID cases. So like is that something that like is that something that drives you? Like you would want to help the people in some use AI in that sort of sense?
Definitely, because in the current season, I think is a very sad thing that's happening. Because not going out and experience all this and constantly worrying about things such as who can get COVID or who cannot get COVID. I think it is a bad situation we are living in, and trying to make these products such as the COVID-19 dashboard in my case scenario, I think it'll just give everyone a little boost of confidence on saying, okay, so my city is safe, my country is safe, and like these. So these types of confidences, I think the main these types of small confidences, at the role of technology playing on people, I think that will help others a lot through these small solutions that you create. And the more the better solutions, the more the better confidence we are giving to people. And I think the only factor, instead of taking huge factors, I think taking this one factor called a confidence in people and helping them to know what's going around them. I think that's two main factors I took towards when developing this COVID-19 dashboard. And I'm also expecting to make some future projects towards COVID-19 and other medical projects as well, such as a lung cancer predictor and many more on future as well. So I think, yeah, the what drives me to make these projects are me knowing that this project might benefit someone in some case or some way or other. So that's what drives me on creating these projects.
Right.
That's good. That's good. That's very impressive.
Thank you.
the other day, I was just sitting and I was thinking that AI is taking over, the whole industry. Like, we can even say it's taking over the world.
Your voice is breaking. Hello.
Can you hear me?
It was going like this, inaudible, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now we can, Simran.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, okay. So what I was saying is, the other day I was thinking, and I really thought that AI is taking over the world, or there's a loss of jobs because of AI. So, as being in the field, what is your opinion on this? Is it a positive thing or a negative thing for the industry?
I definitely, in my case scenario, until what I have researched until now, I don't think that AI might be taking over the entire world or something. I instead of me thinking the Matrix movie I saw the other day, I think of I think of AI as an helping hand. I believe AI is like a helping hand who basically tries to solve our problems much efficiently. For example, let's say I'm trying to write this very long email, but there are definitely some typos which can come. Like, let's say I'm writing some wrong words, some wrong typos, which can definitely occur when I'm writing this long email. And when I'm writing these sorts of email, these applications like Grammarly or etc. They definitely try to help me or autocorrect my words. Or if it comes to the medical field itself, for example, if we have like these CT scans and everything. Now each doctor has to look towards each CT scan to see if a person has a lung cancer or not, or some kind of cancer or not. And that would be a really hard job in case, because the doctor has to go through almost like thousands or hundreds of these CT scans every day. So what I consider AI as, it's a helping hand which basically helps us to solve these problems much better and efficiently. Now, if you're thinking of AI replacing the humans, I think that's basically considered as sci-fi movies real twist. But if it comes to the real world right now about AI, I think I don't see AI taking over the world in next few years or decades. In what I'm thinking is, but AI would be really helping us to solve these problems and solve these problems and help us to work more efficiently. Because if you really think about AI taking over the world, AI has to be experienced with, let's say, car driving. AI has to be experienced with many things all at once. I think AI was mainly designed to do one certain thing, because as humans we can do many things at once, such as drive a car, read emails, and etc. But AI is supposedly limited to do one thing. So I don't see any near future where AI will be taking over the world.
Right. So I had one last question to you, Siddharth. In this current COVID paradigm, like most of the people are currently at home and don't have a lot to do, or they usually can take out time to make stuff of their own, right? So with the onset of all these companies like White Hat Junior, people are actually getting into coding and trying to learn it. Most of the school kids as well. So do you think that is a really good thing that kids your age are now actually delving into these sort of things? Like, unlike you, these people will be learning from a coaching academy, whereas you were self-taught. So where do you see a difference between both of these?
Now, yes, I think it's definitely a great skill to acquire in coding, because starting off with coding, it'll just help us to gain more knowledge on this world of computers, because the next 20, 30 years, it will be everything dependent on computers as well. As of right now, we are totally dependent on these computers itself. So I think it's a great skill for the young, my peers and my generation to acquire as the knowledge of coding, because it will really benefit them. But if I'm really thinking, I think instead of us teaching some new subject, because if I learn mathematics in school, to be honest, it'll be really hard for me to practice it on my own. Or I really don't know, because learning mathematics myself or with the will I'm having, I think then I can be able to learn mathematics in a much easier way. Because let's say, for example, I have this will to complete pre-calculus and pre-calculus fastly and learn the concepts very strong. So if you have that will, I think we can definitely complete it. I think because as of we definitely have the resources in online, I don't think many coaching institutes are required. I think if we have the will to learn, and if we think we can learn a new subject, just the will and the power for it, I think we definitely can learn it for zero money for free in these online, using the biggest resource Google which we have. So yes, it is a great way. It's a great thing that now my peers and my generation is getting started with coding. But I'm guessing that we definitely don't need only coaching institutes to teach us coding. We can definitely have a big resource called Google. We can. This is a beautiful tool, so we can definitely use it and learn anything new. That's what I think.
Right.
Okay, so I guess that was all from our side. Do you have anything you want to ask us or tell us?
Yes, actually, TechTable.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, I love the channel. I actually saw a few videos regarding on data science and NumPy practitioners. So yes, I really like the channel itself. Thank you for making the channel.
Thank you so much for saying that and also for answering all our questions and being
My
so
pleasure.
patient
Thank you.
with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Siddharth.
Thank you so
No, no,
much.
thank you, Siddharth. Thank you for having a chat with us. And I would
Thank
also
you
also
so
like to
much.
thank all of our audience for joining us, and those will be seeing later. Um, so, well, I think we're done with this session. Thank you for joining, Siddharth.
Thank you so much.